What was your relationship like, the two of you on set?
Most of the scenes we did together, we were either yelling at each other or I was getting my ass kicked.
So I had a lot of fun.
We were friendly.
My memory of working with Rob was we were best friends instantly.
Yeah, I knew this was coming. I totally knew this was coming.
You know, I'm surprised to hear you say that we were separated. We have to talk after this.
My first conversation about being Daniel LaRusso was with our director, John Avildsen, who I auditioned for. And instantly you could see this audition footage on YouTube. You could find it, and it's the first time ever I ever read the words of that character, who was Danny Weber in the script. I joke when they cast me, they had to add a few vowels and make him Italian-American. So the conversation, and in this video what you can see is it's Avildsen explaining the character, explaining what he's going through, explaining the story.
Now what's happened before this is that you've been at a Halloween dance with Allie, and everything was going terrific. These kids jumped you and chased you, and they beat you up, and just before they wipe you out totally, Miyagi shows up.
But I did remember John Avildsen saying to me, I can't guarantee you anything right now, but if I were you, I'd take some karate lessons, which doesn't often happen. You know, a couple more hoops to jump through, and here I am. I got to be Daniel LaRusso.
Tommy, who you kidding? You're still the ace degenerate.
No, ex-degenerate, man. 8 a.m. tomorrow, I'm a senior. I've got 1 year to make it all work. And that's what I'm gonna do, make it work.
My first conversation was I was called in by the casting directors. I had auditioned for a different movie before that I didn't get. And through my manager, I got a phone call to come in and they want to talk to you. So I went to Columbia Pictures at that time. I was in my tank top, probably wearing a headband or something. I don't remember exactly, but I went in and they said, you know, there's this movie called Karate Kid. We think you'd be great for this part, Johnny. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know karate, I don't know how to ride my motorcycles. But there was one scene in this script that I really connected to, and somehow I just connected to the character, and I ran it through in my living room a bunch of times, and then the next day went and met John Avildsen, and he was sitting in a chair and he had his camera. He always had his video camera filming everything. And it was a scene cut out of the movie where I hand Daniel a death certificate at the water fountain, and he's like, what's this for? I go, you gotta get your mommy to sign it so you could be in the tournament with the big boys. And he says, I thought it was supposed to be no contact, and I say accidents happen. And then I walk away and he goes, hey, you think he might be wrong? And I go, who? And he goes, your sensei, you think he might be wrong? And then my line is, watch your mouth, asshole. So on that line, that's when I walked over to John Avildsen and grabbed him, which you don't do. And I said, watch your mouth, asshole. And I kind of pushed him back. And then the room was still, and that's where the scene was supposed to end, but everybody was still watching me. So I kind of improv'd and went to the door. I said, read it and weep, I'll see you in the tournament. I went out in the waiting room and came in, took my headband off, which I was wearing. And I said, I'm sorry, that was Billy, that was Johnny, you know, I'm Billy. And he goes, so how old are you? And he got kind of interested, you know, and he goes, you're a little taller than our Karate Kid. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know, Bruce Lee was smaller than, yeah, Bruce Lee was smaller than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He goes, hey, you got a point. He goes, all right, thanks, kid. And that was that. Sorry for the long answer.
Nah, that's a good
answer. You can cut it, you can just cut it.
That's a great answer. I was entertained the whole time.
Were you? Yeah.
With Pat Morita, everything he brought, I mean, I was truly witnessing the right actor in the right role, never taking it for granted. There was an ease of working with him in those scenes.
Up, down.
There's something relaxed about it. There was something when he would talk to John Avildsen or myself about the headband, which was called the hachimaki or something like, I think that's the correct pronunciation. We brought forth of using that, taking it out of his pocket, and then when we put it on for training purposes, and that's when Daniel always wore it for that. All those moments and experiencing him teaching us of that culture and wanting to pay homage and respect to the Japanese American culture, Okinawan in this case, taught me that those moments of ease that we had just fed into the chemistry that we had that I didn't even know we had. You know, the movie is so often thought of as pop culture, get him a body bag, crane kicks, waxing on, and catching flies with chopsticks, but it also has all these other deeper elements to it, which is why what he taught me more than anything is not to take things for granted, you know, sort of revel in the opportunity that you have. So it just is one of those meant to be partnerships. I'm the lucky one. That's how I look at it.
Oh, Daniel-san, very good job.
I met Martin Kove as Kreese in character as Kreese. So I never met the actor Martin Kove. Pat Johnson, who trained us for all the fight stuff.
He's the referee in the Karate Kid film, in the red referee.
Mustang. Before Martin was cast, he played Kreese, and he trained me as Kreese, and he would be super intense and in your face and louder and bigger than even Marty was. And so he put the imprint of who Kreese was on me. And then when Martin Kove came in, it was in the dojo scene, and it was the first time we're meeting Martin Kove, but I don't even know if I knew his name. This is John Kreese, and he came in character with a black belt on. For all I know, he was the real deal. It was interesting. There's the scene where Ralph walks into the dojo, and you know, and I kind of whisper to him that, you know, somebody's here.
An enemy deserves no mercy. What is the problem, Mr. Lawrence?
I mean, you could see that they had more of a relationship than just, you know, sensei, you know. There was a personal relationship that happened that's continuing now, but, you know, when he says to sweep the leg in that moment.
Sweep the leg.
You know, it was Marty Kove that caused that reaction in me, which was just kind of to check him out. I mean, he was so intense and so big. So he definitely drew out, you know, as any actor does, a good actor is going to draw out the best from you. I think if I knew him as I know him now then, I might have laughed in his face. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Marty.
You're a pushy little bastard, ain't you? But I like that.
Hey, did you lose something?
Yeah, I hope we're not bothering you.
Hey, how do you jump?
Oh, it's pretty easy.
Well, Elizabeth Shue, Allie with an I, she was just coming out of the gate at that point. And John Avildsen would always describe, he would always say to me, he'd see me and Lisa.
And we'll still call her Lisa, yes.
Yeah. He would say, you two have no place being together. It's like a strawberry shortcake and a cannoli.
Listen, I've been thinking. Maybe we can call a truce.
Yeah, I'm not at war. Excuse me.
Can we please finish the dance?
We got along great. She was tough. She was athletic. She was a soccer player.
Oh,
she was
yeah,
very physical,
that's right.
And you know, and she was just a kind of all natural girl and beautiful and cool. And we became friends. Of course, the only time I got connected in the whole movie with a punch or a kick.
Yeah, I never hit him.
Yeah, Ralph never hit me. Thank you. Did I ever thank you?
No, you can thank me now.
With at the country club scene where Daniel comes in and gets his spaghetti on him. You know, and then I laugh and Lisa. Every single time she connected, like boom. I mean, she could either, you know, Pat Johnson's like, no, step back and swing. But I think every single time she hit my jaw. In fact, when Daniel falls down the spaghetti and I'm laughing, I'm half laughing at the fact that she just hit me.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in a long time, but who knows? I may be seeing her soon.
It's like a week, right?
Yeah, it was about a week we shot the All Valley tournament. Yeah, I remember it vividly. For us to perform that the first time, 6 cameras, John Avildsen, who had directed Rocky, among others, and so you were in the hands of the best.
Yeah.
And we filled up the arena with the extras, and they saw it for the first time, and we did it for the first time in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
And that is a big part of the base, the spine of what that scene is.
Yeah, it was electric. It was, I mean,
that's a good word.
It changed from the rehearsals where we were at one energy to step. It's like doing theater, I guess. You step out and there's the audience, and it just brings you up to a whole other place that you didn't expect to happen.
And you could run into trouble with the amount of adrenaline because you're just so jacked up. But we were so well trained. It really was. You know, it was a tango.
I think we did the whole fight. I don't remember shooting it in blocks.
No,
we went from the beginning of the fight
curtain to
the end of the fight.
It was live theater. You're right.
Yeah, it really was.
Right.
And it was just, you could feel it. And in between the breaks, I remember when they'd say cut, and I could look up and see the fans are like, boo, boo.
Every round of the Cobra Kai has been disqualified.
You know, and my mom was sitting in the audience, and she's like, Lee, it's my boy. And I'm like, it's
my
okay,
baby.
Mom, it's okay, I'm acting. And there was actually some real martial artists there, real karate schools, and like a real mini tournament happening in the background to make it look authentic. You know, there's kids in pads sparring and all that. So the environment was authentic to what a real karate tournament would have been like. And then we step out with our black belts. That was the thing. I remember walking out with my black belt going, I'm such a fraud right now. You know, if they only knew, you know, I'm walking in, they're like, who's that kid? You know, I'm like the actor that has done this for 3 months, and I hope I don't kick Ralph. Yeah.
What was that you doing on those stumps over there?
Called crane technique.
Does it work?
The crane kick I mean, it was all that one low and wide shot in the Karate Kid film, and in this Cobra Kai series, you'll see there are other angles, and you could get a glimpse of how many ways we shot that.
Yeah, he was on a ladder,
slow
I think, at
motion
one
on
point.
a ladder, just throwing the kick out slow,
over and over,
and over.
spraying my face down more and more.
Yeah, having the water.
Yeah. But the one they used was the low wide, which is the best choice.
And then it wasn't supposed to end that way, though.
The film is not. That's correct.
Originally on the script, that's the scene where Kreese chokes me out and Miyagi saves all of us at the end. And then lights were out after we finished the tournament, and John Avildsen said, "I got my movie. We don't need to shoot it." And
yeah, no, but it was interesting at that point. I believe at that point they said, "Listen, if we ever do, we could always open a sequel with that scene." And I don't know why, but in my head I remember hearing those words from whether it was Avildsen or Weintraub, that their thought was they were ahead of the game as far as starting the sequel, you know, assuming we were going to have a hit.
Yeah, we hung around all the time. We were, went to lunch every day. We trained together. So we really got into kind of a pack mentality, and and I would come in, Ralph and I did our fight scene for the tournament every day that we could. We had to take care of each other in that way. So I think John Avildsen, who really created the chemistry by casting all the right people for this, it was almost like, he kind of created this little universe for us. And
we've become closer friends over the years, and certainly since when Pat passed away, we became closer friends just through the loss of him and moving forward, and the fact that this film has stood the test of time. It's just a big part of not only cinema, American cinema, but also pop culture. And then here we are, back again, in tandem. So it's been quite a journey.